What's up, guys? I believe this is going to be the 5th installment of the updated toolbox tour. Today we'll be looking at the pliers drawer. Start from front to back. Let's see what we have. So these are made in India, and what they are some Titan pistol grip needle nose pliers. They have like a crimper right there and a couple other features. There's cutting knives here, pliers on the end. That looks like a hex type crimper for some common like speaker wire terminals. And the circle one, I guess that's just to get a grip on some round stop. Not really sure, but looks like they try to build some features into it. And it's all rusty. I do use them. I like using 90-degree a lot of times, coming in at stuff where I need to kind of see what I'm doing, but also get at it. So that's them. We have the Blue Point. There's a part number. Made in the USA. Hose pinch off pliers. We all know what those are for. For some reason it has like a patent number and stuff on the back. We have a pair of snap-on. There's a part number. These are the high leverage pliers. It's a weird design. It is slotted, has 2 positions. These pliers really hold on. They work. I think they do a test on the truck with like a penny or something. But of course these are made in USA, snap-on, high leverage pliers. These are awesome, guys. These things do not let go. When I'm in a situation where I only have a small amount of material to grab and I really can't afford for it not to come out, these are the pliers that I grab. I grab for these high leverage. Then we have the classic water pump pliers. These are the Knipex. Here's your part number right there. Made in Germany. The Cobras, awesome. That thin jaw profile really helps out. If you never tried these pliers, guys, I promise you, you won't go back if you try these. The main feature, and the camera is so low, it's kind of hard for me to bend over and see. But when I bring the pliers to the widest opening, look how tight the handles are, which make it comfortable for you to grip so you can apply more torque. That's the secret, besides the easy push button sliding mechanism. That's the secret to these pliers. They've engineered them in such a way that the handles are always close together from the smallest range to where you can easily grip it up until the largest range, and that makes the pliers a dream to use. So love those. I have like 3 pairs of them. I keep a pair in my truck. I keep a pair in my other toolbox. Those are really good pliers. Best water pump pliers I've ever used. These snap on. See, you can kind of see the part number. It's starting to rub off. They need to stamp that in there. I mean, for what we're paying for the pliers, they can go ahead and stamp that in there. But it's the, I guess this would be almost the standard pliers, but this one has a profile built into the head for certain type of hose clips. So that's what that's for right there. And then you have your aggressive coarse tooth design. You can see that I've been gripping hard stuff with them. They hold up pretty well. and then they're triple jointed, so you can go from having them all the way. Then if you need to get bigger stuff, you can go to the middle like a regular pair of slip joint pliers. And then, but that's their claim to fame, is the triple slip joint. And as you can see, the jaws remain parallel while the pliers are open, which is important. All right, it helps when you're having to get stuff loose that's really tight to have equal pressure on the top and the bottom. So that's the snap-on slip joint pliers with the hose clamp feature built in there. This next pair of pliers, part number right there. A lot of people really like these. You can see that. These are the ones, parallel jaw. That's a great feature. Needle nose has the talon grips on the inside. You can see how aggressive the profile is there. Plus it has a standard plier jaw there. No cutters or anything. These pliers kind of flew off the shelves, guys. A lot of people like these. They compare them to like a dung beetle. And here's the closed position. Excellent grip on these. You don't have to worry about the tip spreading or bending like a traditional needle nose plier will, say like the Knipex needle nose. All right, guys. So that was the LN 47 ACFs. Really like those pliers. Okay, good parallel plier. Next up, we have the Tecton. And these, of course, are oil filter wrenches. Triple slip joint, has 3 different positions. Notice how nice and tight the handles stay, even at the biggest opening. So when they're adjusted, and I oil these, that's why they're greasy, and I use them. So the handles stay nice and tight, which I like, and it's important because it makes the pliers easy to use. When you got a pair of pliers that you got to open them up like that and they stay, it's hard to get a grip on them. So these are the Tecton oil filter wrenches. Behind that, we have the Knipex. See, you get a part number on there. Flip it over. There you go. These needle nose, these are nice because the tip is so fine. Here's my pinky, just to kind of give you some reference how small the tip is. But the tips are, these tips are flexible, so the tips will bend on these. So if you get these pliers, don't try to put a lot of force. Like if you gotta just barely grab something on the end right there, if you have to put a lot of force on it, it's gonna bend the tips. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think they designed them like that, and they might be called flexible tip, but they kind of go back. I have had these bent pretty good, and I was able to bend them back. Let's see if we can take a look there at that profile. So, you know, they're pretty good. I like them. When I gotta get in a tight spot, these are what I'm going for. Good grip, not too small, not too wide in the hand. It's just kind of like a perfect, and I kind of operate them with my fingers like that. What I do like about these Knipex pliers, see how easy they open? They're not stiff at all. And that's one of my rating criteria for a good pair of pliers, is how easy they open. These open pretty easy as well. they're a little stiff on the biggest opening, but you know, I'm not using these are hose clamp. These are hose pliers, so it's not like I'm using them. They open easy up until that point, which is about the range that I use them, but tighter when you get to that point. And I'm not using them for that, even though they do have serrations. They do have some profile there for grabbing stuff in there, so you can kind of use them for a regular plier depending on what you're getting. So these are Pittsburgh. Got these from Harbor Freight. All of these pliers came from Harbor Freight right here with these black handles, and they work fine. I've had them for years. They work fine. I love how easy they open. See, that's good for me. These are the 45 dent long. These are nice. Like I said, if I want to open them all the way like that, it's stiff, but in the working range, they open smoothly. Nice. Very great value, good plier, no problems out of them. Again, another size. I believe I got this in a 3-piece set. These Pittsburgh hose pliers. And the reason I bought them, guys, besides using them on hoses, the original reason why I bought them was spark plug boots. I'll take this set right here, this size, and I'll get it around the spark plug boot when I'm working on a car that has the ignition coils all in one, and I'll twist that around and get the boot off without tearing it all up. Sometimes when you pull on those, it just tears them up, and you end up buying. You have to spend more money. This is just another. Now this set is it's pretty good. Like I said, in the working range. When you get outside the working range, it's stiff, but it's pretty loose inside the working range. Really easy to manipulate the pliers. So we had on the Pittsburgh side, we had the bent nose, and then we had the three. Okay, I'll rearrange them. The three different sizes of the hose clamp pliers. All right, not hose clamp, hose pliers. These are the hose clamp pliers, which I have already featured on previous videos. These are the blue points. Two of the sizes, the smaller sizes, hose clamp pliers. Okay, and the big one is back here of that set. Sorry I was so quick, I didn't do the part number thing. Hopefully you can see it. I know they're kind of dirty, so maybe I'll find a cleaner pair. For those who hadn't seen that other video, that's the part number right there. And that 3-piece set was, I think it goes full retail on the Snap-on website for $94. These are called the Hammerhead Snap-on wire strippers. Part number is right there. Has a little locking feature. They're spring loaded. Has a cutter right there. So it has two cutting knives. And this one is for doing residential or like Romex, you know. So this is for your 10-2, your 12-2. And so the range on this one, the biggest wire that it can strip is going to be the 6 gauge, and the smallest is going to be 12 gauge. So you got 6 and 12 right there. Then you got 10 and 8 right there. Let you see the other side of the pliers there. And what these are for, guys, they're wire strippers, yes, made in the USA, of course. It even has the you thread your plate nut when you have those long screws. You thread that screw in there. You can snip that off the size when you're working with those wall plate screws, those little metric screws. But if you're in a junction box and it's tight, especially when the wires are short, which oftentimes they are, this will allow you to get into that box and pull straight down, or if you're in an awkward position and you're working on something, these allow you to strip a wire and pull back. So if you have limited access, these are great for that, working inside of electrical boxes that are mounted, especially when you don't have much space at all. Okay, nice pair. I have 2 pairs of these. The other pair is on my truck somewhere, or in another toolbox. And the other set that I have, it's for the smaller wire gauges. So it's for doing like stranded wire. The other set, because there's 2 different ones of these, it's for like more so stranded wire going like the 22 gauge, things like that. Okay, so that's the hammerhead. That's the larger pair of the hammerheads right there. And then we got the Klein. The mini cable cutters, made in the USA. Klein tools. Okay, part number right on there. There you go. And these are cable cutters. These are great. I mean, as long as the wire size isn't too big, these are awesome and they will cut it. I have since then, after a viewer let me know, I bought a Blue Point set that goes bigger, and it's somewhere else. And then I bought another set of Kleins, the full size ones, because these ones are not big enough to cut like the 2/0 cable and stuff like that. So I bought a really big pair cable cutters for cutting like 1/0, 2/0 wire, stuff like that. Okay, so that's the Klein cable cutters, the miniature ones. And then behind that, we have a pair of snap-on slip joint pliers. This particular set of pliers has the flank drive built in for gripping nuts and bolts. So that's why it has that profile in there like that. Then it has the standard handles, snap-on slip joint, parallel jaws, does have the talon grip right there. Real aggressive grip right there. And of course, they're made in the USA. These are great pliers. I don't really use these much. You know, it seemed like a good idea at the time, as far as like, oh yeah, it's made to, you know, grab like a 6-point nut or something if I'm in trouble. But I find that when I'm working with a fastener like that, a hex head bolt or 6-sided nut, I'm using a wrench. I don't really use pliers a whole lot when I'm working on automotive stuff. You know, I just use a wrench. But I'm sure it has a use and a purpose. Maybe someone in the comment section below, tell me what you use these for and when this is the best tool for the job. These slip joint pliers right here with the flank drive built in. You know, tell me what you use them for. I hardly never use them. I will say that. I'm very honest in my tool reviews, and those really just don't get used. These get used a lot more because it's more of a standard slip joint plier, and then it has that little feature for the spring clips on the end. But because it's mainly has the normal jaw pattern as a regular pair of slip joint pliers, they get used more. So I don't think that I bought the snap-on regular slip joints because those are so close. And these, as you could see, there are no teeth in there at all. So, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you would use these guys for. Behind that, we have the Icon flush cuts, snap-on clones. They did a good job cloning this. Of course, the snap-on ones have a closer tolerance. This right there can leave a little nip. See if we can get it in there. So you can see where the gap is. It goes into the cutting knife which leaves a tiny little piece of plastic if you slide the zip tie all the way down. But as long as you don't try to slide the zip tie all the way to the bottom of the knives and you cut in the normal knife area up here, these work great. So that's the Icon flush cut. Back here, some of my least favorite pliers because they just don't work that well. I haven't had good luck with Cobalt tools. The ends tends to twist. A lot of play in there, and when I'm on something tight, this tends to, one goes one way and one goes the other way, and the jaw just doesn't stay for me. So I hadn't had real good luck with those. But for lighter duty applications, they're fine. Another pair of no-name brand plier wrenches, not plier wrenches, oil filter wrenches, and another Cobalt locking plier. Not really good. There's not a whole lot of times where I need to use a locking plier, but in my truck set of tools, I have much better. These handles are just too big. It's just a bad design all the way around. They put that rubber overmold on there. Would have been better if they just left them all steel. It's just too fat. I got the Knipex ones, that a really good pair. I leave those in my truck for my truck setup for my mobile RV work. These are handy. At first, I didn't like these because they are not good for high torque applications, stuff that's really tight. Some of the features work against it for that. So it has a thin jaw profile. So if you look at that and you look at a regular size like this, different pair, it's real thin. But that is also a benefit for like when you're working on brakes and stuff, or sway bar links, and you need something thin to grab and hold the stud so it doesn't, the whole thing doesn't spin while you're putting the nut on, or when you're taking caliper bolts out and you need to hold that. You need these. So these are good because when you're in a tight spot and you got to grab something just to hold it while you work with the other end, using it as a backup, you can just adjust it to the full length and just kind of put it into place, right? And then it's gonna automatically adjust. So these crescents, I don't think they have a part number on them. Oh yeah, they do. Got a part number right there. These are pretty good in low torque applications, right? Not in high torque applications. If something's on there tight, you better get your pair of Knipex. You want to use water pump pliers like these if it's really tight and you got to get it off. I mean, you can stand on these because once they lock on, you don't have to squeeze it. They lock on, and then you can just push. You can just push after they lock on these Knipex. So, and it's a lot more force you can apply just by pushing on that one side than having to squeeze your hand on both of these to try to get something to loose. All right. Another pair of pliers that are made for like nuts and stuff that I never use are these Icon parrot jaw pliers. I've never used these pliers on anything, much like the snap-on pliers with the flank drive built in. If I'm working on a nut that has a good enough side to use these on, I guess in a backup situation, maybe if you just need to hold something and then you're buzzing the nut off or the bolt out with an impact or something, maybe. But I hadn't really had a use. I normally use a wrench even for that, so never use these pliers on anything. But there they are. For me, somebody have to leave in the comment section and tell me what you use them for. But for me, so far, they're just a useless pair of pliers. All right. Next up, we got these snap-on, I believe they call these the high leverage diagonal cutters. And my gripe against snap-on pliers are they're always stiff. You know, these are a lot better than when I got them, but these pliers are stiff most of the snaps. Sometimes you'll get lucky and get a good pair that are not stiff, but a lot of these snap-on pliers are stiff. These slip joints, these are good. Super loose. That's what I want my pliers to do. I want them to be able to fall open like that. I don't want them to be stuck and having to put on a lot of force to open it. So, and yeah, I've lubed them, I've worked them, I've used them. Come on, guys. They just didn't do a good job on making the pliers to have them that stiff. And because I have so many snap-on pliers, and I know they can make them properly, so I don't want to hear any excuses on why they're so stiff. I have warrantied some out because of that. I just got tired of doing it because most pairs that the guy has on the truck, they're stiff. Here we go with another small pair of quick adjusting water pump style pliers. These don't automatically go to size, but it's a quick adjust like the Knipex. These are good for low torque applications. I like how the handle stays small even when the pliers is at its widest setting. These have been good for the same reason. These have been good for when you need something slim to get in and hold something so you can use another tool to work with it, calipers, brakes, stuff like that, sway bar links, things like that. Those type of situations, these are good. Or if you just have a, you know, something in a tight spot, these are good. It's good to have a nice slim profile. And you can see that I've used these a lot, and they're all black like that because most of the times when I'm doing brakes, I'm using these pliers to hold those that little part of the caliper right here. Now these I don't have a problem with. These cobalt wire strippers, most of their tools, I break them, and I don't have good luck with them. I really don't like them, but the wire strippers are fine. I bought these because I had a job to go to, and I needed some wire strippers, and I was in a jam. I didn't have my wire strippers with me. Must have took them out the truck or something. So I bought this so I can do a job. It was just a cheap. Stopped at Lowe's, picked up some wire connectors and things like that, and I needed the crimper. I might have didn't have my bag with me, so this was just like a quick all-in-one tool, and it was fine. It worked fine for the job, and I held on to them. I just have them out here in my automotive toolbox. It's always good to have a set of the what I call the baby channel locks, made in USA. Don't really see a part number on them because they're kind of rusty, but everybody knows these pliers. Again, handles stay small when the pliers are open to its widest setting. That is a good feature in my book. This is the other set of the auto adjusting Blue Point hose pinch off pliers. You can't see the part number on these anymore because this pair I use a lot more and all that rubs off. But made in the USA, Blue Point. These Harbor Freight Doyle crimper. These are good. I like them. I've had another pair that I keep in the Mac toolbox that are not as stiff. At least they will open up enough for the working range that I'm typically using them for. If I'm crimping something with this, it's going to be 10 gauge connector or less. So, but they're a little stiff. This pair is a little stiff. I had another pair that I had for years, and they do work loose after a while. So they're okay, but I'm not happy about how stiff they are. They're a little too stiff for me. But the other pairs that I've had, they do loosen up over time, but that first pair wasn't this stiff. So that's this in the manufacturing, inconsistency in the manufacturing. But as far as the function, you know, they're loose enough to where I can push them I can operate them with one hand, get the connector in there and crimp it down, and it does do a good crimp. So I would recommend them. You know, they're cheap. If you got a little more money, buy the Kleins. The snap-on ones are good too, but they're stiff, and I have those as well. I have a snap-on version of that in another tool setup. Most of these tools I have double of in another tool setup. We talked about these, and that's it, guys. We've gone through all the pliers. Oh, forgot about the little guys. All right, so this is the these are the Knipex plier wrench. That's the part number. For me, these pliers are useless. They're too small. My hands are big, and by the time I get my hands around them, it's in the way. You know, I kind of got to hold them with 2 fingers, and I can't get any torque on it like that. So I bought them for working with the battery cables on travel trailers and motorhomes, but more so for the travel trailers because it's easier to get to the battery box to loosen and tighten the nut, something that I can stick in my pocket, but they're just too small. The 5-inch Knipex that I normally carry in my pocket, which I don't have right now, that's what I use. And these, I tried to use them, bust my knuckles a couple times, and they're just too hard. They're too small. I can't do anything with them. Saw these on the Torque Test channel. This is a locking, like a line wrench plier. I think it's called the, you can see the part number right there. Let me look at it. 4 Lima Whiskey. And what these are for is when you're dealing with flare fittings. And you can lock, this is a locking plier that's made for when you're doing brake lines or gas lines, especially when they're rounded off and you need to get it off. This will do it. And I believe this surpassed most, if not all, in some of the tests of the line wrenches as far as not losing the grip on one of those fittings. So that's something good to have. Got that for when stuff doesn't go right. So now that's the end. That's the pliers drawers guy. Next up, we'll look at don't have but a couple drawers left that actually has tools in them that's worth looking at. But since we're here, this is one of those drawers. There's not much in here, guys, so not really doing much on that. This big drawer at the bottom, I used to have a lot of stuff in here, but after, this is what's left over after I split up my tools 3 ways. And right now I just got some miscellaneous stuff in there, a set of those tool leagues. That's a set of, well, I'll just go ahead and pull them out because this won't take long. It's not much in here. This is a set. So that's what's in there. Snap ring plier set for my bad back, for lifting heavy stuff. Some blades, you know, staples for my brad nailer, some gloves, flathead screwdriver, some pipe for testing, test speaker, and some miscellaneous hardware. That's all that's in there. So, oh, my old, very simple Harbor Freight scanner, which I call this a code reader. It's not a scan tool, it's just a code reader. So yeah, just really quick for check engine lights. Not really much in there, and that's that side of the box. So when we come back, guys, we'll be looking in this drawer, which has some tools in it, and my electrical drawer, and then my heavy equipment drawer on the bottom. And then we'll work our way over to the other side of the box and look in the power drawer, the gun drawer, and then a couple more miscellaneous drawers, and we'll be done. Okay, that's all for now. RV Tech Pro out.